right, so we are going to now go over our superposition practice questions. So at this point in time, everybody should have taken the time to work through those. So to go through, check our responses per usual. You should be making any changes as needed. So if anything's wrong, making a fix, and then hopefully the explanation for each, makes sense to you. But if not, just let me know. You can always email me with questions, and I'll do my best to help you out at home here. All right, so first, our multiple choice. We have when two mechanical waves coincide, the amplitude of the resultant wave is always going to be blank. So in our notes, it's the algebraic sum. So we're always going to add. We'll just simply be adding either two positive numbers together or a positive and negative based on displacement and position. 2 is B. So which of the following types of interference will occur when the wave pulses in the figure above meet? So here they are on both sides of, they're both on the same side, of the equilibrium line. We have two crests that are about to meet. So when two crests meet, they always just add together. Or if two troughs meet, they always just add together. If they're both on the same side, we're just going to straight up add. So this is constructive interference for B. 3, what happens to waves when they arrive at a fixed boundary? So this is one of the first sentences in our notes here. Waves at a fixed boundary, they are reflected and they're also inverted. So they flip their position as well as bounce back. With 4, so a wave with an amplitude of 3 interferes with a second wave with an amplitude of 2, and you're told it is constructive interference. So with constructive interference, we're going to add. So 0.3 plus 0.2 gives us C 0.5. With 5, amplitude of 0.3 interferes with an amplitude of 0.2, but this time it is in destructive interference. So with destructive, they're going to cancel out. We're going to subtract them. One of them is a positive, one of them is a negative. So 0.3 minus 0.2 would leave us with 0.10 meters left over. And then 7, wave with an amplitude of 0.5 interferes with a second of 0.5 in constructive. So constructive build, we're going to add together. So 0.5 plus 0.5 gives me D, 1 meter. All right, so for our drawings here, and ideally, let me fix this up right now. So we don't want to be for getting those units here. But we have a wave with an amplitude of 1.2 meters meets with a wave with an amplitude of 2 in constructive interference. So if you have the 2 on this side and the 1.2 on that side, that's fine. I didn't specify which direction I wanted the amplitudes to go. So as long as we have both of our amplitudes on the same side, so if you have two troughs here, that would be fine as long as they're both on the same side. And one is 1.2, one is 2, then that would work for our before. The during, so we're going to add them together. So 2 plus 1.2, so it should be 3.2 in the middle. And then you want to make sure whichever pulse you had traveling to the left is continuing to move to the left in the after. And whatever you have going to the right is continuing to move to the right after. And again, this would be just fine too if you instead had maybe a drawing like this, as long as our resultant then is 3.2 but below, since these are both below. Okay, so with 9 here, so two waves meet, and this time it is destructive interference. One is 2 and the other is 2. So here your drawing should look like mine here, except if you had the 2 as the trough going to the right and the 2 as the crest, that would be fine as well. So if you had this drawing going instead, that is also fine because I didn't specify which side either of the 2 was on and which way it was going. But 2 and 2, when they meet up, since they're equal in size but opposite in direction, they're going to completely cancel out. So we'll have complete destructive interference in this case. They'll have a flat line when they meet. And then after, like before, whichever side you had moving to the left should continue to move to the left. Whichever one you had going to the right should continue to move on to the right. All right, in our next one here, you had to identify based on the before, during, and after which type of interference was occurring. So with 10 here, so equal in size but opposite in direction. So this is going to be destructive interference, more specifically complete destructive interference. So they should completely cancel and then move on their merry way after. B, they're both on the same side. So if they're both on the same side, they're going to build in constructive interference. So even though this is a trough, it's still constructive because they're both on the same side of the mean position. So they build to make 4, and then 2 and 2 afterwards. And then for C, so we have a form of incomplete destructive interference. So 2 on the top, 4 on the bottom. There we go, incomplete destructive. So 2 on the top, 4 on the bottom. So when they meet up, they are going to cancel out, but whatever is left over is going to be on the larger side. So 2 minus a -4 leaves me with a -2 or a trough below, since this is the larger side. And then again, though, they're going to continue to pass through each other after that split second in time when they meet. And then for 11, so you had to draw what the during would look like. So we want to first identify what type of interference we have. So here we would have incomplete, so they're opposite sides of the mean position and they're not equal in size. So I will have a wave pulse left over. So the side that will be left over is going to be determined on which side is larger. So the crest is higher than the trough. So 5 minus 1 leaves me with a crest of 4 left over. 2 and 2, so same plane. So since they're both crests, we're going to have constructive interference. So our new wave, single wave pulse in the during is going to be an amplitude of 4. So we're going to add these two together. And then here we have complete destructive interference. So they're equal in size but opposite in direction. So 3 plus a -3. So they're going to cancel out when they meet up in the middle. So I know I went through this kind of quickly just because I didn't want you to listen to me blabbing forever. But again, if we had quite a bit wrong on this worksheet, there is a YouTube video posted that's going to give you quite a few visuals of each type of interference. And then you can also email me if you have any questions, and I'll be getting back to you as soon as I possibly can. But that is it for our corrections for our sheet today.